Hello and welcome to the Rei Sportscar Championship here again at the Red Bull Ring short layout. This is the feature race here in Division 2 and let's go through the grid. In pole position is the Brit Lazelle 973 with second place being to Hillbro. In third place is Way Too Many Atkins, and rounding out the second row it's Average Tom, who won the sprint race. In fifth place is the 66 My Own Parasite, with sixth place being Lewis and seventh place being Cyberstrike. In 8th place is Pixtecker, and then on the final row is Janaya Broad there in 9th. We had a cracking sprint race with Average Tom coming through the field from 4th to win and then actually dominate the second half of the race. But based on what we saw from the lap times, it's actually quite close. It's just got to be the consistency that needs to be found here from a few of them, and we are away here at the Red Bull Ring with Lazelle moving his way into turn 1, and if he can just replicate some of the lap times he showed in that sprint race, he can give the likes of Average Tom a run for their money. So it's a fantastic livery there by Lazelle as he leads. We've got the red, black and white. And then we've got the number 50 car in second. No major mistakes so far, although it is actually quite close here at the back because Pixtecker is right on the back of Cyberstrike going into turn 2. Now, there is no mandatory pit stop because it's just the heavy wets which are the mandatory tyre, so no need to have actually changed the tyres. Ooh, and actually Cyberstrike running a little bit wide here on that opening lap, but he'll stay in 7th for now, back up front. And there's a big lead forming from Lazelle, which means it's actually now down to Hillbro, Way Too Many Atkins and Average Tom to battle it out for second, and that's a big missed apex there from Way Too Many Atkins. Tom will go through, and I think even My Own Parasite will. And we can see My Own Parasite right on the inside here, actually looking to overtake two cars in one, to kill two birds with one stone, and you know what, I think he's going to pull it off here on lap 2. He goes down the inside, probably didn't need to be down that far of the inside, and Average Tom gets a much better run out of turn 1 going into turn 2. We can see Way Too Many Atkins running out wide and will drop behind Lewis. A terrible start of him, and that's the second poor start we've seen to a race by him there in a row. There's actually quite a consistent trend here in Division 2 of people qualifying well and then moving down the order in the early stages. We're at Dragon Trail as well. Further back, and Pixtecker's falling down to 9th and is off the track. He's spinning into the wall. That's a terrible mistake for Pixtecker. Let's just catch a replay of it. Oh, there's the first mistake. So it's actually 2 mistakes in a row where he's rejoined on the track with cold tyres and at a lower speed, and that has caused the second spin. Back up front, and it is Lazelle leading by about a second and a half from to Hillbro. Average Tom on the inside of My Own Parasite, moving into 3rd place now. And Lewis there running wide in 5th, but still a good start for him overall. Being on the back of Average Tom and My Own Parasite is not a bad place to be here. Now, we saw in race 1 that Hillbro had some really good pace, but he made an early mistake and that cost him heavily, and then from there he just increased the gap away from the front with even more mistakes, so he'll be wanting to change that here. Currently the fastest lap is from Lazelle after race leader, so this is a fantastic start from him to try and capitalise on his fantastic qualifying session. Now, just a reminder, there is a slight amount of ballast here in Division 2. The championship leader Average Tom has 6% of weight ballast and a 3% power deficit. Meanwhile, some of the other runners here up front, such as Lazelle and My Own Parasite, they also have a little bit of ballast, just not as much. It is based on the championship points relative to our championship leader Average Tom and our current pace setter with a 4.3, which is really good pace here, especially considering the ballast he has. Hillbro is stuck in the mid-5s compared to Tom, who's going a second faster just at the moment. But it is a fantastic livery that he has made for himself here in the Rei Sportscar Championship for Season 8. Just a quick look further back, and Way Too Atkins has lost a little bit more time, meaning that Cybertruck, well, he was closing up for a moment, but that's incredibly wide, and he might end up getting an off-track time penalty for that. Yes, he does. Back up front, and the closest gap is between second and third place. Hillbro now moving into the 1 minute 4 seconds, but Average Tom getting the better run through turn 1. It's a long race to go, and we've seen that in Division 1 anyone really can win. The grid order doesn't necessarily replicate the finishing order, and we can have overtakes all the way up until the end. Now in the Division 2 sprint race, it was Average Tom who managed to be consistent for the majority of the race and actually build up a demanding lead. But now that we're gone to the feature race, a lot of these Division 2 drivers have built up a little bit more confident here on these heavy wet tyres, and Hillbro actually making an early mistake here. Maybe he does not have the confidence of Average Tom, who's now looking round the outside of turn 6. That would be one hell of a move to do if he pulls it off, and you know what? I think he has. Hillbro maybe being a little bit too careful there on the inside, but he can pull away there at the exit of the corner with no power deficit. Tom definitely getting held up, but oh, not for much longer. Hillbro brake far too late, and he's into the wall. He's accelerated far too much there on the curbing. Let's just get a view on board here. So you can see they braked a bit too late. You can see Lazelle actually making the same mistake there. And now here he is on the red AstroTurf. He's gone 100% throttle, and that is what sent him into that blue and white wall. It wasn't the original mistake, it was that secondary mistake that's put him down in 7th, and actually it might even be 8th behind Janiyah Broad, considering the amount of time it's taken him to get back on track. So that pushes Cyberstrike up to 6th. Meanwhile, that has allowed Average Tom the clean air he needs to try and catch up the race leader, Lazelle. Lazelle really didn't want this. The closest battle on track right now does seem to be between Lewis and my own Parasite. Lewis making some fantastic early ground here, gaining a 2nd on that previous lap. And going into turn 1 and going out of turn 1, he has got the better acceleration compared to the Canadian. Oh, is that my own Parasite? No, sorry, it's Way Too Atkins there, losing control of the exit turn 1. But Cyberstrike was making a mistake as well, so he fails to capitalise right now. Further back, Janiyah Broad also way off the track. Hillbro actually keeping it on track. Oh, we've got a spinner. It's Cyberstrike. He was running in a pretty comfortable 6th, aiming at getting into the top 5. But I think he's braked early. He's just let off the brake a little bit too early there. But he's rejoined with a minimum time loss due to the way he spun into the wall. Just at the back, we've got Pixtecker going through turn 1, and actually that's probably the best line I've seen in turn 1 on this 7th lap of the race. Back up front though, and it is Lazelle who is losing time hand over fist here to Average Tom, and that's a fantastic run. Oh, we've been compromised on the exit. That was, if anything, too good through the final corner from Average Tom, as Lazelle got so loose that Average Tom had nowhere to go. To the inside into turn 1, but no, late braking not possible into the opening turn. We've seen that attempted, but rarely succeeding. Still about 3/4 of this race to go here at Red Bull Ring short layout. So this is the south track here in Austria. Rarely used, but providing some excellent racing here for the Rei Sportscar Championship. This might be the opportunity that Average Tom needs to take the lead here, but I think Lizelle actually improving through that final turn. So let's just look a little bit further back at Tar Heelbro, who is gaining on Janai Abroad after that horrifically bad lap 6 where he went off multiple times in the first sector. You can see he is gaining by about 1.5 seconds on his fellow American driver. But it's a very spectacular livery here, we can see. Meanwhile, back up front, and the top 4 are separated just by a couple of seconds. You can see them all in the same shot here. All of these have actually proved themselves to be fantastic drivers here in Division 2. And actually, looking back at it, all 4 of these are Rei Sportscar Championship rookies this season. The veterans of the Rei Sportscar Championship, Way Too Many Atkins and Cyberstrike, are in 5th and 6th, along with Pixtecker at the back of the field right now. So we might see a couple of these joining Division 1 in the future, and maybe if there are any special events, we can see them fighting out with the big boys. We can see that Lizelle really has picked up the pace the last couple of 2 laps. And that is stopping Tom from taking the lead, just like he did in the sprint race. So this is a much better performance from Lizelle so far. Oh, what a great move by Tahilbro. We just caught the exit of it, so coming out of that final turn, Janai Abroad did not get the acceleration he needed, and Tahilbro actually managing to outbrake someone going into this opening turn here at Red Bull Ring. And here at Spielberg, he moves into 7th place. Can Janai Abroad do anything about that? I don't think he can. So, focusing back on this battle for the lead, you can see Tom using way more of the curb, and if anything, that's a little bit too much as he doesn't use the track on the exit. Just a little bit too much oversteer there, and a lack of balance. So actually 0.5 seconds that gap has increased by. Meanwhile, Lewis there in 4th has had a lap to forget as he loses a few seconds from the podium positions. Tahilbro and Janai Abroad are still fighting out for 7th place, just like they were doing last lap. But Janai Abroad runs wide. So let's go back to our lead battle, because Average Tom has regained that ground he made, and Lizelle is actually having to defend here into turn 5. He does go back to his original line though before the turn. Average Tom using a little bit more curb, and this is the closest he's been here onto the main straight. This wet weather has produced an absolute treat for us viewers. Been one hell of a race so far, and really I'm not too sure who's going to win. I would put my money on Average Tom though. He does seem to be the consistently quicker driver. As we go through turn 1, and Tom might move out to the right going into turn 2, and let's go on board. He does go, and oh, is there contact? I don't think there is. That's as clean as a move as you could ask for, as Average Tom takes the lead here in Austria, and is now on course for another Division 2 race victory. Absolutely fantastic racing from the both of them there to make that as clean as they can be. Lizelle will be disappointed he's lost the lead, but the race is not over yet, especially with Average Tom running wide like that through turn 5 and turn 6. Oh no, if anything, Lizelle got too good of a run through that final turn. Average Tom was the one who made the mistake, and that has benefited him, if anything. He stays in the lead. My own Parasite's caught up in all of this little battling, and Average Tom is running wide. He's way too late. Lazelle takes the lead. Lazelle back in the lead. My own Parasite's going to move up into second. Surely. Surely he does. Yes, he does. A big mistake from Average Tom. We haven't seen many of them this season. He missed the opening round of the season, and then at Brands Hatch he had a fantastic performance to win that race. And then at Dragon Trail, it was another couple of great races from him. Blue Moon Bay there at the Oval, he was consistently fighting for the win, and then yeah, we haven't seen many mistakes, so well done for Lazelle and My Own Parasite to capitalise on that and move into the top 2 positions. My Own Parasite has always been there or there's about here in Division 2. But that small mistake in that final corner may cost him. Oh, we've got a car round, and it is to Hillborough. So he's already made a mistake so far, which has dropped into 7th, and here he's gone onto that curb too much, and then he's had to steer heavily to try and counter out the original mistake, and that sent him into the wall, and he's facing the worst way he can. So he'll drop down to 8th, but he's still comfortably ahead of 9th place Pixteca, who I think actually made a mistake on that previous lap. Let's see if we can catch it. So actually it was a very similar mistake to Hillborough earlier. Just on that red and white curbing, if you accelerate too harshly, you do end up veering off the track. Back into the fight for second place here at the start of lap 14, and Average Tom accelerating far better out of turn 1. My Own Parasite on the outside getting rid of his penalty, and second place is Tom's now for the taking. Just having a look at the Hungarian driver Lewis, who has had some good pace and needs to just find a little bit more consistency to battle for the podium positions. Just a quick look at the fantastic and oh, well, it's a fantastic livery. The driving maybe not as good there for Pixteca, but I'm sure that if the driving was as good as his livery creation, he would be a 8-time Rei Sportscar Championship winner. As we go back to the battle for the lead, we've still got Lazelle here losing a little bit of ground to Average Tom after his earlier mistake. And then My Own Parasite, they're down in 3rd. Lewis not had the greatest lap here, struggling to catch up in 4th. Way Too Natkins, we haven't seen much of him there after a poor start. He is in 5th place. And in 6th place is Cyberstrike, who actually is catching up here, the top 5, so good luck to him. And then 7th is Janai Abroad, to Hillborough in 8th, catching him up very, very quickly. Now, if we just look here at Average Tom, we can see he has taken another 7 tenths out of the race leader. So Hillborough is going to catch up Janai Abroad because he's run wide at turn 1, and that's another second taken out of his lead here for 7th place. Now the next round is at Mount Panorama Bathurst, but I'm sure the Division 2 drivers will relish that challenge just like they're relishing this challenge. As we go up to the battle for the lead, and what an amazing lap there by Lizelle, 4.274 to edge out the fastest lap by average Tom. Would not have expected Lizelle here to get the fastest lap, but really showing his stuff here. Oh, is that Lizelle off? No, it's Pixteca off. I heard some tyre screeching. Meanwhile, behind, I think Lewis has had a little bit of a bad run there through turn 3. Let's just catch a replay. He was on a fantastic opening first sector, but then yet you can just see he manages to control it unlike Pix with a lot of heavy braking. We've also got a car off ahead. It is Cyberstrike again in the exact same way as he did in the early stages around lap 3 or lap 4. And then further back we do have Janaya Broad and Dahilbro just separated by a second because Dahilbro has been going incredibly quickly. Why is my own Parasite pitting? Why is my own Parasite pitting? His tyres are completely fine. There is no mandatory pit stop. This is a crucial mistake, so maybe he has not got the memo about the lack of need to change tyres. Maybe he thinks this is the best option for him, but I would beg to disagree, and he will likely move down into 4th place and out of that battle for the top 2. But back up front, Lizelle and Average Tom are just separated by about half a tenth of a second, as Average Tom looking towards the outside, maybe now towards the inside for turn 5. And here, just about a lap ago on this Wolf Cola sponsored replay, is Janaya Broad getting very loose through turn 4 and Tahilbro retaking that position. But back up front is this crucial mid-race battle between the race leaders. It's impressive that Lizelle has held off Tom for this long. If this was the sprint race, Lizelle would be bagging him home the entire 20 points. But it's a feature race, it's double the length, double the points, so they are both fighting for 40 points. Here is my own Parasite, who maybe this is some strategic genius to pit, but it seems maybe more like an error. Then we've got Way Too Natkins in 5th, who is not too far behind. Cyberstrike in 6th. Now as we just cut to the start of lap 20 for our race leaders, Lizelle has actually lost another tenth to Tom, but a tenth isn't going to matter too much. That's not enough of a speed difference to really lose or gain a position here at such a short and technical circuit. Turn 2, turn 3 and turn 4 in these wet conditions really do require a lot of focus here, which is why this section is so technical that we're looking through right now. And you know what, I think average Tom there's got the better run through the corner. Let's go on board with him. Is this the race winning overtake? Lizelle going to the outside. Tom has the easy move here on the, and I think Lizelle's defending too late. I think Tom has the move sewn up already, actually gone down the inside. And Lizelle can't defend for much longer. As Tom stays on the inside, Lizelle will accelerate a bit earlier, but Tom has it. Tom surely has this on the, here is the apex. And you can see that is Lizelle left in the dust. It was great stuff from Tom to get to the inside as early as he could through turn 4, and then from there was nothing that Lizelle could do. A 5.2 compared to a 6.1, so just us saying that it wouldn't be enough to defend, Lizelle just lost the racing line a bit through turn 3 and turn 4, and that's all that Tom needed. Just a quick look further back at the podium battle, Lewis is about 2 seconds ahead of Mayo Parasite, who pitted about 4 laps ago. In 5th place is Way Too Many Natkins, just lapping the Mexican Pixteca. 12 seconds back is Cyberstrike in 6th place, who's had some pretty good pace, but one or two mistakes have cost him. 7th place is Janai Broad, now ahead of Tahilbro, who had a really poor last lap. We haven't called that on the replay, but we can see his overtake potentially on Janai Broad in the upcoming laps. And then, yeah, Pixteca in 9th place and is facing the wrong way at turn 3. Oh, as is Cyberstrike again at turn 2. Let's catch what's happened here. Oh, so he's gone. Wait, whoa. How wide is that? Let's just see. So the braking point is in 3, 2, 1, brake. Oh, that's about 7/10 too late there under braking. Fortunately, he controls the car going over that red and white turf. What's happening to turn 2? 3, 2, 1, brake. Oh, he's braked probably, and if anything, a little bit too heavily. Locked up the rear tyres, and that has sent the Mazda Roadster touring car round. And as we cut to Janai Broad and Tahilbro, they are going to join this battle with the Brit. Tahilbro to the inside going into turn 2, and that is a great clean move, but Janai Broad's going to hold it around the outside. They're just a few seconds ahead of Cyberstrike, and there's another car off in further up. Is that way too many Atkins, or is it actually going to be Pixteca? We'll catch it in a moment, but Tahilbro going around the outside of turn 3. What a move by Tahilbro. Sorry for cutting away, but Tahilbro with one of the moves of the event so far. Right around the outside of turn 3. I never even considered that this was a possibility, but Janai Broad maybe not thinking that it would happen, and Tahilbro just using as much of the track as he could. And yeah, it was Pixteca who was around. Let's see what's happened to him. Well, maybe some sort of transmission failure, as he ends up going around there right on the straight. As we go back towards the leaders then, it is Average Tom leading on lap 22, who's now built up a 3-second gap ahead of Lizelle. Lewis a few seconds further back in 3rd, with My Own Parasite closing him quickly, but not like that, missing the apex at turn 1. My Own Parasite is a few seconds ahead of Waiter Atkins in 5th, and then it is Cyberstrike, Tahilbro and Janai Broad there all going through. We did just see that fantastic overtake at turn 4. Let's just cut ahead an extra lap to lap 23 now, as we see that Tahilbro is catching up Cyberstrike. He caught him up by 7/10 on lap 22. And that might be a few more tenths as Cyberstrike gets rid of a time penalty for abusing track limits. And Pixteca off again. This time it's at turn 2 and 3. Has he accelerated a little bit too soon? He was just getting that by Average Tom, and yeah, he's on the outside on the extremely wet line, sending him into the gravel now. If we look at Average Tom, he's now built up a major lead, and that is because Lizelle has made an error which had dropped him into the clutches of Lewis and My Own Parasite. So this is bad news for Lizelle. Pixteca moving out of the way, and will actually make a pit stop. Running in 6th place here is Cyberstrike, but only about 7/10 of a second ahead of Tahilbro, who actually has a purple first sector, so that's great news there for the American. Now we're just going to cut ahead to lap 25. Oh, but Tahilbro here, just as he enters lap 25, he's run wide on the entry. Lost the rear even more, and has been unable to control the car here. And he dropped back down to 8th, so he has the pace, but not the tendency to not make those crucial mistakes. If it wasn't for these mistakes, he could have been running in the podium positions, that is for sure. Just a quick rundown here of the field is Average Tom leading by about 9 seconds from Lizelle. And you know what, Lazelle's pace has actually been reasonable since the mistake. He's been doing 4s and low 5s. Lewis, wow, with the fastest lap of the race. I would not have seen that coming. And this means that Lazelle may lose that second place in these last 10 laps. 4th place is Mayan Parasite, and then it is 5th and 6th for Waytoon Neckins and Cyberstrike. Now Waytoon Neckins is on his own though, really, with only a lapped car to keep him company. Let's skip ahead now as we go to lap 28, and Lazelle is being caught up by Lewis, and Lewis has just come from absolutely nowhere with a massive speed increase to go down the inside into turn 1. So Lazelle really struggling out that final turn, but he does get the cutback into turn 2 and actually will keep second place for now. But this kind of pace that Lazelle is doing will drop him out of second place for sure if this continues the way it is. Pixtecker's best lap of a 105.1 is only about 1.2 seconds off the fastest lap of the race, so the pace is definitely there. It's just got to iron out those mistakes, very similar to Hilbro. Meanwhile, Average Tom has found that consistency he's been looking for with 4s most of the way through these last 10 laps. As we just skip ahead to the start of lap 30, you can see that Lewis is on the back of Lazelle, still hunting that second place, but with only 6.5 laps to go, Lazelle might be able to defend. He did hold the lead for 18 laps, for 50% of the race that is, and that was from a championship leader. Let's look at that mistake from Lazelle. It's similar to what Lewis did earlier. Tried to control it with a little bit of braking, has done, but just that second he's lost has cost him that third place. So what we've seen here at Red Bull Ring is the tendency to not make mistakes is far more important than your overall pace. It doesn't matter if you're half a second slower. It just matters if you don't end up losing control at turn 3. Bad news there for the Brit. Good news for Lewis ZGD there. It's probably too late for him to do anything about Average Tom, who is going a little bit quicker, but is only about 20 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, yeah, about 15-14 seconds up the road. Now Lazelle might now be in danger of losing a podium position entirely to the Canadian. Let's just have a quick jump further back. Janiyah Broad is about 6 seconds behind Hilbro, but that might increase as it looks like Hilbro is making a mistake through turn 4. Four laps to go here at Red Bull Ring for the Division 2 feature race, and as we said, we haven't really needed any pit stops, so maybe that pit stop from Mayan Parasite has not worked to his advantage. He is a little bit quicker overall than Lazelle, although not on the previous lap, but yeah, that might have cost him second place. As other than that pit stop, yeah, he definitely would have been further up the road than Lewis. 5th place, Wayton Atkins, been on his own. Real shame for him, but hopefully at Mount Panorama he can make a comeback. 6th place, Cyberstrike. Few too many times off at turn 2, but his pace, his last 2 laps, fantastic stuff there. Yeah, I think he is in contention for a race win at Bathurst. Oh, we've got a car going backwards. It's Pixteca, so yeah, well done there. Meanwhile, up front, Average Tom dominated yet again, made his way through the field very well and avoided making any big mistakes. Meanwhile, the other Division 2 drivers found themselves off the track. I see a car spinning. I go to the camera of Pixteca. It's just been one of those races for him, but he definitely has the pace to bounce back and get some more points at Mount Panorama, so I really hope that he can find some more form there. He is a very experienced and veteran of the Rei Sportscar Championship. In 8th place, Tahil Bro, who is catching up Janai Broad, and that is still a battle for these last 3 laps. In 6th place, Cyberstrike, being on his own, and well, if he runs that far off, he'll be in an entire different continent, although this time he is not in the pit lane. Just a quick is that Pixteca in the pit lane? Yep, Pixteca joining the pit again. But yeah, Cyberstrike in 6th, Wayton Atkins in 5th, 4th is My Own Parasite, 3rd is Lazelle right on the back of Lewis. And leading this race still is Average Tom by about 15 seconds. And Average Tom has actually crossed the line to start lap 35 now. Let's just go on board with with Lazelle, not Average Lazelle. Just Lazelle here as we go on to lap 35. He's going for the slipstream on the Hungarian. Lazelle is looking to the outside because Lewis, with the heavy defence, not able to cut back across, and Lazelle gets much better run through turn 2. Towards turn 2, I should say, and you know what? I think he's made this move stick because that's incredibly wide from Lewis, and Lazelle has actually regained that 2nd place, and I think there's a car off. Maybe not, there were yellow flags, so maybe I am mistaken. Was it Average Tom in all of that? No, I don't know where that mistake was, so let's ignore that. But Average Tom leads. Lazelle now moved into 2nd with just 90 seconds of this race to go. Great stuff to regain that with a 4.5, which was just a little bit quicker than Lewis's previous lap. But Lewis really being aggressive, wanting to regain that 2nd place. He's using that curb on the entry, and you know what? Let's go back on board with him. He does have a time penalty for reducing that track limits, and if he does not get rid of that, that will be added on at the end of the race, rounded up to an entire second. Just a quick look at our race leader and championship leader, Average Tom, who yet again is going to add 60 points in total to the standings. In 2nd place is Lazelle fighting with Lewis, My Own Parasite in 4th, and just to see where Janai Broad and Tahil Bro are, they're only separated by a half a second, but Janai Broad has a very small penalty. If that is not wiped out, he will get 1 second's worth of penalty due to it being rounded up. In 2nd place, still Lazelle. Lewis got rid of his penalty, and I think that might just be it. So we'll go to our race leader and race winner here for the doubleheader at Red Bull Ring. Congratulations to the Briton, Average Tom, for an unbelievable performance. He is Division 1 worthy, it seems. Maybe we'll see him in Division 1 next season. 2nd place is going to be Average Tom, who, Lazelle, I say again. He crossed his line in 2nd, ahead of Lewis. In 4th place, just outside the podium, Maya and Parasite after unnecessarily pitting. In 5th place is going to be Way Too Many Napkins, and let's just catch what happened further back. So Janaya Broad was just ahead of Tahilbro, but I think that penalty means that he loses 6th place to Tahilbro unless he gets rid of it. Oh, but he's gone even further wide. That penalty increases from 1/10 to 6/10 as he crosses the line. And that means he will have a 2nd penalty after the race, pushing Tahilbro into 6th place. As you can see on the standings on the left hand side. Cyberstrike, what has happened here? What have I missed? What has happened? What has happened here? Where is this? What? Cyberstrike has gone off on the... So a couple of laps ago, Cyberstrike completely off the track. You can see him being lapped there by Average Tom. With just 1 lap remaining, he's long off, and then that's one of the... And that's cost him 7th, and it's cost him 8th place. He's lost so many points, and I think that was actually his 2nd mistake of the lap. So Cyberstrike losing 8th place here in the tricky conditions. Pixteka will finish 9th in the pit lane. We hope you've enjoyed this race of the Rei Sportscar Championship, superbly won by Average Tom, with Lazelle and Lewis on the podium as well. Little bit of drama there with Cyberstrike losing positions and Tahilbro gaining 6th place on the last lap due to a penalty. We will see you next time for racing at Mount Panorama in the Mazda Rosa touring car.